Thank you. We have everybody online. I'm assuming you can all see and hear me okay. I would like to officially open today's meeting at 9:36 a.m. And I would like to acknowledge we are hosting this meeting on the traditional land of the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation. We acknowledge the Aboriginal people as the traditional custodians of Western Australia, pay respects to elders past and present, and the ongoing connection between people, land, waters and community. This meeting will be run in accordance with the DAP Standing Orders 2024 under the Planning and Development DAP Regulations 2011. This meeting is being recorded and live streamed on the DAP website in accordance with the Regulation 42A of the Planning and Development DAP Regulations 2011. Members are able to refer to technical devices throughout this meeting to assist them in considering information before them. We have a full composite of members today. Online, we have Dr. Caroline Wellinger, Councillor John Keogh. To my immediate left, we have Karen Hyde, Deputy Presiding Member, and further left, we have Mike Moritz, Specialist Member. My name is Francesca Lafanti, Presiding Member. We have apologies for today's meeting and they are listed in our agenda. There are no members on leave of absence. The minutes for this meeting will be available on the DAP website. We have two items for today's meeting, and we will deal with them in the order in which they appear in the agenda. Joining us today are officers from the City of Armadale, Mr. Paul Sanders, Mr. Glenn Windass and Ms. Jacqueline Farmer. I understand Jacqueline will be joining us for item 3.2. We have presenters for all presentations, for all items, and we'll deal with those when we get to it. Members, can I have a show of hands that you have duly considered all documents contained within this part of the agenda? That is unanimous for the minute taker. Members, are there any disclosures of interest in relation to this item? And I'll first go to councillors online and ask whether this item was considered or these items were considered by council at a meeting.
No, they were not considered at the meetings.
No.
Thank you. Members, are there any declarations of interest in relation to either item on today's agenda? That is nil for the minute taker. We will move now to item 3.1, part lots 9550 and 9050 Alex Wood Drive in Forestdale, a proposed warehouse, storage and incidental office. We have two presenters. As you are both aware, we have a time frame limitation of 3 minutes for your presentation. The material that you have provided us has already been distributed, and as you have seen earlier in today's meeting, members have duly considered that matter. I will encourage you to focus on the key things you wish to present to us today. We will deal with the presentations for this item with Mr. Clayton Plug first, followed by Mr. Elton Stwartz. I assume I pronounced that correctly. You can change the order should you wish, but I will now go to Mr. Clayton Plug.
Thank you very much. Thank you for the opportunity to present to you this morning in respect to the proposed warehouses at our client's Alex Wood Drive property, and for the opportunity to advocate for this. In this presentation, I'm just going to address a few key points, but I would mainly wish to note that we have been working with the city for the last few months to come to an agreement in relation to this matter. On that basis, we're very pleased with the recommendation for approval and encourage the panel in that direction as well. In the first instance, in terms of my key points, I note that this development will provide a much needed use for the Forestdale Business Park. I'm informed that there are no warehouses of a similar scale within it, and possibly no existing warehouses at all. So clearly this development is much needed, especially because the estate is on key transport corridors. Secondly, I wish to highlight once again how this development has been optimised to suit warehouse operations. It's got very large loading docks, spacious internal floor areas, and a simplistic separation of vehicle manoeuvring spaces between commercial and pedestrians. And all of these things promote a very strong focus on logistics which is the key to any good warehouse development. Therefore, the site has a clear long-term warehouse intention, and hopefully this will allay any fears that a more staff-intensive development would occur at this site in the future. Thirdly, and perhaps most importantly, the parking provision is no longer of concern, as evidenced in the RAR. And I'd like to make a few brief points here as well. We've increased the parking provision to up to 21 bays per tenancy. This parking provision exceeds that of other approvals on a per metre squared rate, noting that those approvals granted by this DAP were in very similar contexts. The WA Planning Manual for non-residential car parking rates in Perth allows provision to be considered on specific operational details. And to that end, the letters which we've provided from respected real estate agents demonstrate that there are a range of tenants who would comfortably accommodate themselves in what's being proposed in relation to their specific operations. Finally, the long-term intentions here are very clear, but as noted in the RAR, any more intensive land use would require a change of use development application given the zoning, so there's protection there as well. Lastly, I'd just like to note the substantial improvements made to the facades, to the landscaping and to the overall architectural integrity of the development. This includes the provision of significant additional tree planting along the eastern and western facades in particular, which serve to veil the development well, through the use of more neutral colour tones too, and we've provided other visual interest points as well. So all of this provides for a much improved presentation. Panel members, I trust that this sufficiently demonstrates that this development is capable of approval, but of course we're happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. Members, are there any questions to this first presenter?
Yes, thank you, Presiding Member. Karen Hyde speaking. Thanks for the presentation. I just wanted to check the parking numbers that you talk about, because I think your letter talks about 22 per tenancy, yet I think I just heard you say 21. And there's a condition of the proposed approval that talks to 17. I think that's condition 8. So I just wanted to clarify that point, please.
Yeah, that's just to do with the fact that there originally we had 11 bays proposed within the road reserve.
Yeah.
And now we've got 9 as per the civil drawings. So that's all the discrepancy between, 22, 21, I'm rounding numbers there. And then of course the 17 will be those specifically on the site.
On site, okay,
Yeah.
Thank you for that. That was my only question.
Thank you. I have a question that's kind of a follow-up question, and I'll clarify with the officers a little bit later. The on-street parking bays that you've provided, I note that the number's 9 as per the RAR documents. Those are not, to my knowledge from the information provided, exclusive use for your site. Is that correct?
That is correct, but as noted in the RAR, they are right adjacent to this site, and so it's natural that they do have a benefit to the proposed development.
Thank you. Are there any other questions to this presenter? If not, thank you very much. We will move on to our second presenter, Mr. Elton Swartz, if you would like to speak.
Good morning, and thanks for the opportunity to address you. I'll keep it short. This is a land holding that I've been involved with for over 30 years, and our intention is to keep our remaining land holding. So making sure that this development works long term is important to all our capital considerations. Our strategy is largely born for warehousing out of Westport and the transport links, and we believe that this site will be warehousing for generation to come. We don't see a change of use or foresee that in any shape or form, and we've worked hard to optimise the yield based on warehousing. From the letters that you've got from our agents, there is strong demand for this, and I think it will add to the type of businesses that Forestdale will attract. And with that, I thank the city. We've done some work with the on-street parking to include that in our civil works contract. Our aim is to make this whole precinct, this part of a 15-hectare land holding, work in the long term with the city of Armadale. And I ask and encourage you to approve this development so we can move on to development.
Thank you for your presentation. Members, are there any questions to this presenter? If there are no questions, thank you for your presentation. We will move to city officers. We have for this item Mr. Paul Sanders and Mr. Glenn Winters. Would either of you like to make a comment on this proposal before going to questions?
No detailed comments, just really we've worked with the applicant over the last couple of months to resolve the outstanding issues and get some positive changes to the design. I note the comment about the car parking numbers. Our town planning scheme allows the crediting of street parking where provided by the developer, but it doesn't, overrule the fact that it's not a non-exclusive use, so other people can actually use it. So it's sort of included in page 6, this second paragraph there, a bit of a description there, and generally it'll work quite fine.
Thank you. Anything further you would like to make in relation to this proposal?
Generally, in accordance with the recommendation, we're supportive.
Thank you. Members, are there any questions to city officers? Yes, Member Karen Hart. Oh, sorry, Councillor Caroline, Dr. Caroline Willinger, would you like to ask some questions?
Just about the on-street parking, how much of that would we be doing, and how would that impact the urban forest tree planting along the verges throughout that estate? Just trying to get an understanding of the impact of that.
The site is an unusual site, being on 3 corners with a boulevard on one side and the roundabout on the other, so that restricts some of the street parking. But I feel like we've worked with the applicant, advocated to the applicant the importance of trees, and they've done everything they can to include as many trees as they can. In terms of the 9 bays, originally there were 11 bays proposed there, and what we've actually done is removed some bays to actually allow trees to be put in to space the actual bays. And we also, as a local government, don't like long lines of continuous street car parking in industrial areas, because you get very large trucks parking in those areas, which can be create an additional issue. So we feel that this development will have probably more vegetation on it than most of them out there. And Dr. Ringler will be aware that we have struggled to get tree planting in these industrial areas, and it's become a real focus for us recently.
Thank you. Do you have any further questions? We'll now move to yourself, Karen Hyde.
Thank you, Presiding Member. Just a couple of questions about the wording of the conditions, if I may. Condition 2, which refers to the landscape, do you feel that there's any need at the end where it talks about all landscaping installed prior to occupancy as per the approved plan thereafter? Would that need further clarification to the satisfaction of the city at the end of that?
It's a good question. In some instances, we've preferred to use that wording, and then other instances, the JDAPs and others, or the WA PC, haven't preferred it. So in the end, we believe we can work in either space. Obviously, our preference would be to the satisfaction of the city, to make it very clear.
Okay, thank you. My second question relates to conditions 4, which talks to the local road network, and condition 6, which talks around the construction of pedestrian paths. Did the city have a timing in mind for that? Is that prior to occupation or at some other point through the development?
Thanks for that question. I suppose that question is interrelated to question 3. The actual road network's being constructed at the moment, and we're confident it'll be very much in place before the development is built, based on the developer's need to actually market other sites in that small part of the estate. So number 3 requires the lot to be created, which then links into the triggering the time period of condition 4. So you could add prior to occupation, but we've found doesn't really matter because we've got condition 3.
Oh, I see. Okay, thank you. Then condition 10, which encapsulates a number of aspects of drainage. A stormwater management plan prior to occupation, would it be preferable to have that stormwater management plan at the point of the building permit, or might I ask why you're comfortable to leave it to prior to occupation? Do you foresee any outcome of that might change the configuration or the implementation of the development at that stage?
So we've got the road network and the urban water management plans as part of that process, which will specify the majority of the requirements, including the street drainage system, which is in the front verge. And then we'll have individual for the individual parcels, which is largely their car parking and roof space. And generally, we try not to bog down the, I suppose, the building permits process with some of those things, because they can go back and forward a little bit about how long it takes for water to infiltrate and all those sort of things. So those things can be easily resolved. And what we try and do is just do the building permit in 3 to 5 days and rely on the DA condition to resolve the others, which, you know, we're talking about soak wells in the ground. It's not a difficult process, and taking a couple of months after the building permit doesn't really matter to us, because not many people build an industrial building without water provision, I can assure you.
Thank you. And just lastly, I was just interested to understand why condition 7 has drawn out the dust management plan separately, whilst I see that condition 18, the construction management plan, also includes dust management.
Sorry, did you say 7 or 17? Oh, 17.
Requires dust management plan, and it's also required as part of condition 18. Just wondered, was there a different nuance to condition 17?
They do work together. Like the dust management plan is a standalone document, and in terms of the construction management plan, it's one of the feed-in documents into a comprehensive document. And to be honest, it's probably one of the more significant problems we have in our growth areas. I can show you some probably videos of some real dust issues without 6 months of rain over the last couple of months. Luckily it's raining today to give us a bit of relief. The amount of movement of sand is quite phenomenal, and it gets into the street drainage systems, as well as affecting the health of people that are workers, like at the Hungry Jacks and the service station and the car wash and places like that. So we are aware of issues associated with dust around this particular area and this estate, and the developer is as well, and we need to work harder on trying to manage that. And fortunately, winter's coming, and a lot of the works will be done in winter, where it's not so much of an issue for us, other than sediment movement, which they can actually manage.
Thanks, Mr. Sanders. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's great. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions to city officers on this item? Thank you. If there are no other questions, we will move back to the agenda. And the agenda, item 3.1, has a recommendation for approval at the beginning of the item. Is there a mover of the RA recommendation as written? It is moved, Dr. Caroline Willinger. Is there a seconder? It is seconded, Mike Moritz. Would you like to speak to the item?
I need to say that I really appreciated those letters from the real estate experts as well, just to say how important the development was. That was valuable, I thought, and I'm pleased with the changes that have been made. Thank you.
Thank you. Would the seconder like to speak to the item?
Thank you very much. I was involved in the process to defer this item previously, and I'm very pleased that the matters have been resolved, and I'm satisfied that there's been adequate resolution to the issues that were of concern previously, so I'm happy to lend my support to the proposal.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers on the item?
Thank you, presiding member. Caroline speaking. I'm very comfortable with the proposal and think that it has certainly responded to the reasons for deferral. I'm satisfied with the parking resolution and the changes to the facade, etc. I would, however, like to propose an amending motion, which I think I could do en bloc just to tidy up a few of the conditions, please. And that would entail for condition 2, adding the words to the satisfaction of the city after the last sentence there, where it says as per the approved plan thereafter, would add those words to the satisfaction of the city. And for conditions 4 and 6, prior to the commencement of the wording, I would add the words prior to occupation. That would be my amending motion.
Thank you. Is there a seconder for this amending motion? It is seconded. Dr. Caroline Willinger, would you like to speak further to amending motion 1?
No, presiding member, it's really just to tidy those up and to give certainty to timing and clearance authority positions. Thank you.
Thank you. Would the seconder like to speak to amending motion 1?
No, thank you.
Are there any other speakers on amending motion 1? If not, would you like a right of reply?
No, I'm fine.
We are going to the vote on amending motion 1. All those in favour? It is carried unanimous for the minute taker. Back to yourself.
No, I'm comfortable with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there any further speakers on the item? If not, I will speak to the item. Thank you for the material provided. Have reviewed all of the material and satisfied that it has addressed the reasons for deferral, and those have now been resolved. The proposal is, from my perspective, consistent with the planning framework as set out in the report, and I'm satisfied that the modifications, the changes that have been made are appropriate in the context of the design, and that, as has already been indicated, issues of particularly around parking have been resolved to the satisfaction of the city, as well as being consistent and appropriate for the nature and type of the development proposed. I move back to the mover for right of reply and close of debate.
I have nothing further to add. Thank you for all of your comments as well.
Thank you. We are going to the vote on the substantive motion, including those changes in Amendment 1. All those in favour? It is carried unanimously for the minute taker. Thank you. We will now move to item 3.2. It is lot 501, 80 Gillam Drive, Kelmscott, proposed storage. We have one presenter, Mr. Mark Ray. He is here in the room with us, and I will hand over to yourself, Mark, to present. As you've heard earlier, we have received your material and has been duly considered by members, and you have a 3-minute time frame for your presentation. Handing over to yourself.
Presiding member, good morning, panel members and city's officers. I am representing the applicant this morning in support of the proposed self-storage facility at 80 Gillam Drive in Kelmscott. We are pleased to receive the officer's recommendation to approve this application subject to conditions. We thank the city's officers for their collaboration and engagement throughout this application process, and we also do appreciate the opportunity to discuss the proposed conditions with the city's officers prior to submitting the RAR. As a result of that, we do not request any amendments to the proposed conditions this morning. The RAR has comprehensively assessed the technical planning items and the merits of this proposal. I simply wish to add this morning that the proposed land use, its scale and intensity is appropriate in the context of this locality. The proposal was assessed by the city's DRP with changes made to improve the overall sign aesthetic and landscaping provision. And the proponent is agreeable to further increasing the landscape provision in accordance with condition 9, which will improve the landscape quality of the proposed development. For these reasons, we would respectfully request the panel approve the application. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your presentation. Members, are there any questions to this presenter? There are no questions. Thank you for your presentation. We will move to city officers. We are also joined with city officers with Jacqueline Farmer. City officers, do you have any comments you would like to make in relation to item 3.2?
No comments other than to support the recommendation and I suppose thank the officer and the applicant for working together to come up with a consensus for the application to move forward in a smooth fashion.
Thank you. Members, do you have any questions to city officers? If there are no questions to city officers, we move to the agenda. There is a recommendation in the agenda at the beginning of the agenda, a recommendation for approval. Is there a mover for the recommendation as written in the agenda? It is moved, Dr. Caroline Willinger. Is there a seconder for the motion as written? Seconded, Member Mike Moritz. Would you like to speak to the item, Member Dr. Caroline Willinger?
Only to say that I suppose we're very pleased that we continue to have businesses coming into that part of our city as well. So it's good to see a quality development. Thank you.
Thank you. Would the seconder like to speak to the item?
No, thank you very much. I've just briefly reviewed all the information and I'm pleased to see a very satisfactory outcome in terms of the proposal, and the conditions seem to adequately manage the proposal. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers to the motion in front of us? We'll move to Deputy Member Karen Hyde.
Thank you. Yes, having considered everything, I think this is an appropriate land use for the zone. I think the height, the bulk and the scale is satisfactory given the use and the location. I'm quite satisfied having looked at the work prepared by Oricon, their analysis and research that parking, station and staff and frequency of use here can be managed appropriately, so I have no issue with the parking shortfall and happy to apply discretion to that. Comfortable that it's responded to the review of the design review panel. Just one minor amending motion, please, presiding member, which would be to condition 9 and to add the words to that last sentence where it says maintained as per the approved plan. Thereafter, I'd like to add to the satisfaction of the city.
Thank you. Is there a seconder for amending motion 1 in relation to condition 9? It is seconded. Councillor Caroline Willinger. Would you like to have any further comments?
No, thank you. I'm comfortable with that. I think it speaks to itself.
Would the seconder like to speak to amending motion 1? Are there any other speakers on amending motion 1? If not, do you want to write? We are going to the vote on amending motion 1. All those in favour? Is carried unanimously. Would you like to continue?
No, I've said enough. Thank you.
Thank you. I will. Does anybody else wish to speak to the item? I will speak to the item. I'm supportive of the proposal. I think it's an excellent development in that site. I do note that having been out to the area, that this section of Gillam Road is quite different from other sections of Gillam Road, and there are a number of older style developments. It's exceptional to see a new positive development in that area, new built form, good design facing out to the street. So I think it's an appropriate development in its context as well as within its zoning. Those are my comments. Are there any other comments? If not, we move back to the mover for right of reply, and that is Dr. Caroline Willinger, who was the mover of the substantive. Do you have a right of reply?
Only just to agree with everyone that we're pleased that this is a quality development coming to this particular area. It's an older industrial area. Yes, it's good.
Thank you. Right of reply has been had. We are now going to the vote on the substantive inclusive with amendment 1. All those in favour? It is carried unanimously for the minute taker. Thank you. I move back to the agenda. There are no Form 2 applications and there are no SAT reconsideration applications. SAT applications and Supreme Court appeals are listed. I have no comments on those, and accordingly I close today's meeting at 10:05 a.m. and thank everybody for their participation.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Bye.